Hi guys, my name is Steve with LRM Leasing. I'm here to show you a few things that you should probably keep in your truck to help you with any issues when you break down or do some repairs of your own on your truck. So I have some things that are just laid out on the ground. Maybe a few things I recommend to keep in the shop. So one, I have a wire cutter, which also does crimping, which you can also use for a lot of things like cutting hoses. This is a good multi-purpose tool, even though it's only made for electrical, but you can use it for multiple things. And this is something I would recommend to keep in your truck as well. Now, we have two Crescent wrenches. I would always keep one good size medium and one real big one when you have different areas you need to fix on the truck, or to use like for brake chambers, or even make an adjustment on a fifth wheel. And these will come in handy, and you don't have to carry so many wrenches just because these are adjustable. Now, the other thing is I got a pair of pliers. A pair of pliers you can use for multiple things, especially when you have just clamps that just go on by squeeze. And sometimes you just need something where you can grab a good hold of, still hold it in place, and you can use with a Crescent wrench as well. The next thing I would recommend is you got a Phillips and you got a flathead, which these are the items you should keep. There's certain parts of the truck that you're gonna need to use for Phillips, especially for worm clamps, like for your hoses, and for the air-to-air for where it connects to the turbo, just to make sure the clamps all stay nice and tight, especially on your cooling system with the coolant. Next thing is a hammer. Hammer works for multiple things, releasing your brakes when you need it, or when you need to slide your fifth wheel, you would use this right along with a drift punch. And you would hit that in place just because when it seizes up, you can hit it, comes back in track, and you can start moving your fifth wheel around. Now, the next thing I would also recommend is certain tapes: duct tape, electrical tape, and Teflon tape. When you do any electrical, especially when you got wires, something to pinch, you see it cut, you repair it, you can twist it together, wrap it until you get to a shop to get the proper butt connectors, or at least to solder them together. You should also have a small toolkit right here, which includes some sockets, some ratchets, which you may need, like removing an alternator if you need to, or even a tensioner on a truck that you can do yourself and save you hundreds of dollars just doing it yourself. Then we have two vice grips. I would recommend two different kinds, one with the needle nose and then the normal one that you would see. These are great, especially when you need to block off an air or even coolant, just so you can get to and from, maybe to back to the house or even to the shop, or wherever you need to get it so you can do the repairs to get the truck off the road. And then the other one is just, I use this for multiple things. Again, holding a nut in place, take it off, or even loosening up a airline, holding one end of the hose while you use the Crescent wrench to take off the other. Then a flashlight is a must, especially we would love for the truck to break down during the day. Unfortunately, that doesn't happen. A flashlight will help you find the problem, and also when you're underneath the truck. Zip ties are good things to have, especially if you need to tie something out of the way or pinch an airline in half. I would always recommend to have a few of those. Test light, I would go with a bulb, non-LED, because you want to make sure you have a load. But again, the test light will work, especially when you want to check out the fuses. You can find out which one's blown by seeing if you have one power on one side and no power on the other. That's a good indication that the fuse is blown. And then keep some fuses and some relays for your truck. Then I also have a small pry bar. I use that especially when it's time when the brakes are locked up. Use that right away with a little bit of can of soda, especially if it's giving you a little bit hard, and then rock the truck back and forth, and that should free up the truck. So with all this in mind, also make sure you keep plenty of fluids in your truck, like oil and coolant. You should always have an extra gallon or two in your truck at all times. With all this being said, this is a certain things I would recommend to have in your truck. Thank you for your time. Please, on the bottom, subscribe. If you have any questions, please leave it in the comment section. Thank you.